The story that I'm talking about today is a longer, deeper look that we took at how the TTC was handling the very difficult, very taboo subject of suicide on its tracks.
In the depths of Toronto subway, suicide hovers like a silent scream, piercing those left behind.
Typically, as a news organization, we don't report on suicide, or when we do, it has to be done in a very, very careful and thoughtful way with a lot of guidelines and principles taken into account. And for them, the Toronto Transit Commission, it was something that they never wanted to talk about publicly because of that contagion fear, the fear of copycats. So when we approached them thinking this is going to be a bit of a tough sell and it's going to be a difficult one, we were surprised at their own openness and their transparency and their willingness to tackle a really tricky, difficult subject. Why is it so important to the TTC to be so open and to tackle this in such an open way, even giving us this kind of access?
Well, I guess not talking about it hasn't worked, in summary, so we needed to find some way to be responsible about communicating.
At the end of the day, we described him as a very quiet hero, and that was a man by the name of John O'Grady, who is in charge of public safety for the Toronto Transit Commission.
If you know there's something you can do that's going to save one life, then you are duty-bound to do that thing.
So he was invested in telling the story, but he was also very thoughtful and careful about how it was to be told, and so were we. And it was extraordinary, the access we got. We put cameras on track level, we put cameras on the track. We went into subway cabs with drivers who had hit somebody.
You're dreaming about it, you're thinking about it all the time. You hear someone scream and then you think about it and you're looking over it, right? So.
What strikes me about the TTC story is that there are people doing remarkable things, and you realize that our jobs as journalists and storytellers is to find people who are not waving their arms saying, look at me, but who are doing extraordinary things quietly. And the beauty of doing stories like this is that you uncover a gem of a story that's also very important and will help people not only deal with a really tricky subject, but talk about everything that surrounds suicide, mental illness, stigma. Every conversation, I think, as a human being and as a journalist that we have that breaks down stigma is a good thing, even if they're harder stories to tell, even if they just kind of settle with you and stay with you and they're always somewhere on your mind. But I think it's our responsibility as storytellers to take on the tough ones and to do our bit, if you will, to help people feel that they're not alone.